Hello, new video. In today's video, we're going to take a look at a team that is generated from ChatGPT. I haven't done them in ages, but today we're going to take a look at a Master League team because I was kind of running out of ideas that I can really showcase. Today we're going to take a look at a ChatGPT team, and we're going to have here a team with Dialga in the lead. We have the say-swap of Germnaa based on ChatGPT, and in the back we have Mewtwo as a closer, and I was very scared going into those battles. Why was I scared? Main reason is Yveltal. Yveltal is completely wrecking the backline here. ChatGPT, by the way, said Focus Blast on Mewtwo. I'm not gonna get rid of Shadow Ball at the current time, mainly because it's a legacy move. If it wasn't a legacy move, I most likely would have tried to do that, but I have like 2 elite TMs, and for just this video, it's not really worth it to get rid of an elite move. But basically, we're going to have here a backline that is quite weak against Yveltal. I was thinking as well for this one, for Germnaa to go for Dragon Pulse as a secondary move over Ominous Wind. And I should have done this most likely. I think it would have helped me out a little bit more. But generally speaking, the team actually worked. Like, the team actually worked. I can't really believe why or whatever. But to be fair, I actually don't really see that many Yveltal, and this is like one of the reasons for it. Like, yes, of course I encountered like a few Yveltal, but I did like 3 sets with this. I went positive, I think, in every single set with this team, and I encountered like 3 or 4 Yveltal, and those were also the main losses of the team, but you wanna see about this here as well. But generally speaking, I feel like Yveltal kinda got a bit scared away from all the fairy type Pokemon, which opens up like potential for teams like this, which is kind of cool. And so, as we will see here as well, the first battle we're going to have in Xerneas, which is going to get farmed down, and the Primarina in the back just forfeits. So let's see what the next game is going to give us. We're going to have the Dialga mirror matchup in the lead. They swap out into the Ho, we can swap into the Giratina, and they decide to forfeit. Fast ones here in the beginning, but here we're gonna now see the worst kind of Pokemon to encounter. But the opponent makes a crucial mistake, I don't know, like definitely something good for us here. We're gonna be able to align our Mewtwo against the opponent's Landorus, which is great. We were able to get the move off before as well. If you swap out in a time frame of 1 second basically into your Mewtwo, you're going to be able to get to the charge move before the Landorus now, which is great. Like, this literally helps out quite a bit in terms of trying to get the moves, like basically have a better matchup against this Pokemon. But as you're gonna see here now, the opponent of course can go back into the Yveltal. We can only do a little bit of damage here until we have to go into the Dialga. We see the swap out now into the Xerneas. I can go for a charge move first and now swap out afterwards into our Giratina. Maybe could have swapped out a little bit early as well, but this is gonna put them into farmland range. And I wanted to basically do exactly this, get them into farmland range, so we are going to be able to force them to go for 2 Moonblasts as well. We can overfarm by a little bit, go for a charge move now. We are very, very low on HP, and so now it's down to if we can knock out that Yveltal or not. They sadly still get a few fast moves through, but now they are at half health already. We have 2 shields, we can just shield up everything, and so can we actually win with a team that's really weak against Yveltal? Let's find out here. We're gonna try to do our best here to go for the full farm against the opponent. Let's see if this is going to work out for us. It is not. If they needed 1 more fast move, we would have won the battle, but we just got really, really close here, but we're not able to really do this one. Next one, we're going to have here Palkia against us. Palkia is going to be a great lead for us, especially as we have Dialga here, of course. They can go for the spatial rent or whatever. I decided to use a shield here. This is my only answer for Yveltal, so you kind of have to keep in mind that you kind of need your Dialga. I decided to stay in for a little bit too long here. My idea was to put them into range where I can just knock them out with 1 Side Strike, but the issue is here with this kind of scenario that we're of course going to get knocked out, or like basically got the attack drop here with the opponent's Sensitive Storm, so our Side Strike is not going to put enough pressure onto them to get knocked out by just 1 of them. If we didn't get the debuff first, we would have been fine, but we didn't, and so it's going to be a bit of an awkward one. And so, as we will see here as well, the opponent's going to be able to knock us out, which is not ideal. They're going to swap back on into the Palkia. I can at least go for another charge move, and we are still in an okay spot, to be fair. The opponent decides to go for a shield, allowing us to go back into our Dialga, use a shield here as well for a potential spatial rent. But we have a ton of energy on Dialga. The opponent's Palkia is into farm down range, the Landorus is into farm down range, and if the opponent is something in the back that is going to be weak against Raw of Time, which is not the case here, it's going to be Nihilego, which is going to be weak against Iron Head. You're going to be in a very solid spot where, honestly, I don't even know if Iron Head does more or less than Raw of Time. Could be actually the case as well, that Raw of Time would have been the better move to go for, but it doesn't really matter because also our Giratina is going to have a great matchup here, and we're going to look really, really solid here. As the opponent goes for a Rock Slide, it barely does any damage. We can go for a Charge Move against the Landorus. farm down the Nihiligo afterwards, and this is going to be a very good game. Again, I feel like Dragon Pulse would be really cool on the Giratina, by the way, if you want to copy ChatGPT's team. Anyway, we decided to swap out of here. Also, again, you kind of want to swap out if you have a neutral lead. Like, for example, here, Ho-Oh would be a neutral lead for the Dialga. It is not a great lead, but something that you can stay in and play around a little bit. It's not worth it for you. If you don't swap out your Say Stop basically here with like swap into the Giratina, you're always going to struggle later on if they're going to have an Evalta. Like you literally instant lose if they have an Evalta on the back if you stay in your lead and lose your lead. And that's why we decided to swap out here first. Now we're going to be able to go up against the Ho-Oh again. I can go even for the Raw of Time. Cove went for the bait here, but a lot of times people just think I decide to go for a bait and then I don't. But here they decide to use a shield, which is fine. But this allows us to go into our Mewtwo. And Mewtwo with energy is going to be great. There is of course the fear of getting debuffed, which is going to happen here as well, and so our Side Strike is not going to do as much damage as it should do, but this is going to be still okay for us, because we are forced to use a shield here, but I think we're going to be able to outspeed them now anyway. Brave Bird is coming through, they're going to hop into their final Pokemon, which is going to be that Xerneas, and I'm a bit concerned here, because I am kind of forced to get to another Iron Head with my Dialga, but I'm actually going to be able to catch the move here. That's going to be great, right? Actually not really, because the opponent is going to be able to go for 2 more fast moves and then knock me out, which is going to force me to wait in a position where I need to hope for a mistake from the opponent. I need to hope that they're going to be a bit extra greedy, which they don't have to, which they don't do here as well. They didn't go for an extra free fast move there, but yeah, they decided to go for the Moonblast and knock us out. And now Morris. This Pokemon honestly is something where you can stay in with your Dialga. You win, I think, the 0 and 1 shield scenario against this Pokemon. So that's kind of cool. You lose his 2 shields as far as I know now because of the fast move pressure from the opponent, but you can stay in for a little bit. Again, it's going to be a bit awkward if they're going to have in the back the Evalta, but also you are the best Pokemon to resist the charge moves from the opponent, so I feel like I'm just going to gamble that there's not going to be another flying type Pokemon in the back, and that's basically why I decided to stay in here. Could, of course, go really wrong as well. Here they're going to be able to catch the move onto Rhyperior, which doesn't make any sense, does around like 60% health of the opponent. We can swap onto the Mewtwo, because Mewtwo is going to be a bit faster at charging those moves up, allowing us to go for one Side Strike before the opponent can go for a single charge move as well, knocking out that Rhyperior. And now we're going to see if they're going to have the Pokemon that we all fear or not. Is it? No, it is not going to be the Pokemon. And so it's Palkia now against us. Side Strike is going to connect. Side Strike is going to be able to do some solid damage. And now it's down to what am I going to do next? Am I going to decide to use a shield here? Am I going to rely on my Giratina? And I decided to rely on my Giratina, which I don't know if it was the right call or not, but we will find out very, very shortly. We're going to have 2 Pokemon that are actually good against Giratina, but Giratina is the only Pokemon that still has full health. I am forced to go for the Ominous Wind there. I am forced to use a shield here as well, I'm fairly certain, as I kind of was hoping to get a boost here basically. Boost would help us immediately, like literally kind of wins us the battle immediately. But as we're going to see here as well, we didn't get the boost. We never got the boost, by the way, once, which is okay though. We still should be able to survive a Fly. Fly is the hardest hitting move that they can go for. They have Dazzling Gleam as well in theory, but they're always running Grass Knot. And so we are going to be able to win this battle here with our Giratina. Rhyperior in the lead. Not ideal at all. We can swap out straight away into our Giratina. This Pokemon is going to be able to still kind of go toe-to-toe, even though the opponent has super effective coverage with Breaking Swipe. We're just going to hope that the opponent is not going to be able to go for the debuff, which they don't, which is great. And now we might be even able to still go for 2 Shadow Balls against the opponent. First one is going to connect here, and I'm trying my best to even go for the bait here instead. It is not going to be able to knock them out. The opponent knows that as well. They use a shield. I didn't actually expect this, that they would use a shield here, but there's no reason for us to use shields either. They go for the Breaking Swipe, all good. We can go into our Mewtwo, and I'm gonna try my best to fully farm them down here. I don't really want to do anything else other than getting a ton of energy. They decide to go for another Breaking Swipe. They don't get the debuff, which is great for me, because now I thought I could farm them down, but I can't. They can go for another Breaking Swipe, which is okay again though. We can still take it. We can go for the full farm down. And in comes the Primarina. What we will see here now as well is that we are forced to go for that Side Strike and doing some solid damage, but yeah, it's still not over yet. They have Waterfall, so for us it is better to swap out, and they're going to reveal that they have Xerneas in the back. What we're going to do here is we're going to hope that they decide to go for a charge move before I do, and they do exactly this. Moonblast it is, we don't get the debuff, and this is going to be great, because now I can go up to 2 Iron Heads. First Iron Head is coming through here now. the opponent is going to decide to use a shield, and now there is no way of them winning the battle anymore. We have too much energy on our Mewtwo in order for us to lose the battle, and so yeah, no matter what they want to do, there is no real reason for us to be worried about anything. We win Team Pita against both of the Pokemon, we have nearly 2 moves stored anyway, we still have a shield, and so as you're gonna see here, we're gonna be able to get the knockout against the Xerneas, and also the Primarina is going to go down to another Side Strike, and honestly Mewtwo was a great closer in the current meta. From the Pokemon that I had here today, I feel like Mewtwo did the best job out of them all, for sure. Like, they all did a great job, to be fair, but Mewtwo was kind of the best for that one. And here's also the thing, again, which I really like about Giratina. Having that neutral Shadow Claw, which is Stab, and Shadow Ball, that is Stab, is so good in the current meta, like, especially with all the Waterfall Primarinas here that think that they're going to be safe. They're not safe against our Giratina. As we're going to see here, the shield coming up from the opponent, we can still go for another Shadow Ball, forcing either another shield or the KO, and both of them I'm going to be happy with. I'm going to be able to get the KO, they go back into their own Giratina, and they're forced to go for a Shadow Ball. And this was quite early, where I was thinking, is that really a Shadow Ball? It was not. It is not enough to knock us out. We can go for another charge move. And I don't think there could be a Pokemon out at the back that can still win this for the opponent, especially not a Xerneas, and so that is going to be a very good game. Next opponent, Yveltal. And towards this opponent, I have my kind of own little story about this opponent. I battled them in Utrecht and I lost. And this was the one battle that I should have won in order to get to the World Championships. If I would have won the battle against them, and I think I lost 2-3, like they had got 3 wins and I got 2 wins in the losers finals for Utrecht Regional, I would have actually went to Worlds. They went on and won the entire tournament. That's also why they have the shirt on right now. But shouts to you, by the way. Like, fair play to them. They played really, really well. For me, the one thing about the matchup here, like the matchup against Yveltal, is always horrible for us. Like, don't get me wrong, I should have most went for a Shadow Ball there as well, which was a bit of an issue for me. But the one thing about the matchup against them in Utrecht, I should have won the matchup. I really should have won the matchup. There were so many opportunities for me to win it. And then at the last 2 battles, I got RPS. Like, basically, I won the first 2. And then the third, I was really high up already. Would have been able to win the battle if I just did play differently, which I should have done. And then afterwards, I got RPS'd. And it was just like such a sad thing for me because I definitely knew that I could have won the third battle. And the last 2 I had no chance anymore, but like the third battle was so winnable. But for me, I feel like I just didn't have the power in me anymore. Like, I went through the entire losers bracket the entire day and got up to the losers finals and lost against them at the end. Here I lost as well, but yeah, I got against them. Still very memorable. I would have got to actually Worlds otherwise, but it is what it is. My ultimate goal might be actually to get to Worlds eventually though. Like, I would love to compete in Worlds. The thing is, for me, like, I'm not in a position where I can really travel a lot or where I can spend a lot of money into going to tournaments, and also I don't have the time in order to practice for tournaments either, so I'm literally in that kind of a spot where it's very difficult for me to compete in a high level, sadly. And also, I don't even have the hardware. Like, if you don't have currently an iPhone to practice, it is basically impossible to have, like, lag-free game. And like, if you don't have like free gameplay, like, it's just not enjoyable to practice. So yeah, for me, maybe eventually, maybe in like a year or something, if Pokemon Go is still in the circuit there, I'm gonna try my best to actually get up to Worlds. But also, to be fair, the next 2 locations are not really something that I'm really interested in. The last 2 before would have been something interesting for me, or like even the last 3 before. But yeah, Worlds would be something cool. Definitely something I would love to do, but it is very tough for me time-wise. You see it as well with my videos, by the way, recently. Like, even this video is not gonna be out at the time that I usually would put out videos, which is usually at 12. I'm gonna try to get back into this one. It's not because like anything happened or I don't really want to have the schedule up or whatever. It just is nearly impossible for me currently to work in a way where I get my stuff done in time, which is, it is what it is. But yeah, anyway, we're going to see here that we're going to be easily able to win this battle now. Brave Bird is coming through, we would have a Shadow Ball, and the opponent is deciding to forfeit anyway. Final battle for today. We're going to have here a great lead for us. They swap onto the Zacian, and they make a huge mistake here, to be fair. They decided to go straight for the close combat, and I was like, why would you ever do this? Like, as a Zacian, you saw iPhone Ironhead, like, Ironhead is not going to be enough damage to knock you out, and you just debuffed your own defenses. And not only this, I can also swap into the Giratina and look at the fast move pressure they have. And look what they decide to go for. They decide to go for a Wild Charge, and they don't do any damage with that. Also showcasing now with it that they have basically nothing that I have to worry about. I make a bit of a mistake by going for the Ominous Wind. you might think, but actually I don't even think it was a big mistake. Yeah, I could have got my energy or whatever, but with this I can at least allow them, don't allow them to get into a matchup against my Dialga later on again with Zacian, and that's gonna save me for later on anyway. And as you can see here, Broguiere has to take a Shadow Ball. We can go into a Mewtwo, we can even take a hit here. Hydrokin does around 50% of our health. This is going to be totally fine, and they swap out into the Kyogre. I just decided to go for a Side Strike. If they shield, I can farm them down with my Dialga. If they don't shield, I would have been able to farm down. If they shield, I can just go for the Roar of Time. And the Roar of Time it is. Roar of Time going to easily be able to one-shot them. And this is going to be it for this video. Honestly, ChatGPT didn't let me down this time around. Honestly, most of the ChatGPT teams actually worked out for me so far in the series. Haven't done a video like this in ages. If you want to see more, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.